Hello, my name is Laura and today I'll be teaching you how to crochet a basic granny square for beginners. Granny squares are really important when you're just learning how to crochet because they can be used as a base for much bigger projects such as blankets, tote bags, or cardigans.
The materials you will need for your granny square are yarn, a crochet hook, and some scissors. As you can see here, I'm using the brand I Love This yarn in the color Jelly Bean. You can use whatever yarn you have on hand or want to use. And if you're wondering what size of crochet hook to use, if you look right here on the wrapper, it says 5.5 millimeters. So I'm using my 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Step 1 is to make a slip knot on the hook. The way I do this is I make a loop, hold it with my right hand, take my thumb and forefinger on my left hand, slip it into the loop, then I twist once, grab the long end of the yarn, pull through. Now we have our knot. Take your crochet hook, slip it in, pull the long end of the yarn to cinch it up, and there is your slip knot. Next we are going to chain 5, so grab your yarn. I like to hold it like this, and then to chain 5 we yarn over the hook and then pull it through this one loop on the hook, just like that, and do that 4 more times for our chain of 5. Now that we have our chain of 5, we're going to make a slip stitch into this first little V right here. So just take your hook, insert it right into the middle of that V right there. Hook your yarn, pull it through, and pull it through right there. And that will make the little circle that will be the base of our granny square. From here we are going to chain 2 and then make our first double crochet. We're going to do that looping over the hook, inserting it into the center of this circle here, wrapping the yarn around the hook again, pull through, so that leaves with 3 loops on the hook, yarn over again, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. One more time, yarn over, enter through the center circle, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our first bunch of 3. Now that we have our first bunch of 3, we're going to chain 1 and do our second bunch of 3. And we're going to keep going around doing that, groups of 3 chaining 1, until we have 4 groups of 3 stitches on our middle circle. From here, once you have your last 3 and chained 1, we are going to make a slip stitch into the very first stitch we made, just like that. And that makes our first round. As you can see here, those chain 1 spaces we made left these little gaps, and those are what we will be working in for round 2. So we're going to chain 2 more, and then we're going to work into this first little chain 1 space, make 3 double crochets. Now that we have our first 3, we're going to chain 2 and then do 3 more double crochets in the same space as the first 3 to make our first corner. As you can see here, that made a nice little corner with another corner gap for us to work through, and you're going to go around and do that for each of these little gaps, so you're going to have 4 corners in total. Once more, we are going to make a slip stitch into this first stitch we made, just like that. And there are different ways to do this, but what I like to do is I slip stitch 1 stitch over and then into the corner, and then that gets you ready to make your other corners. So then chain 2 and then make your corner. Okay, now as you can see here, all those chain 1 spaces in between the corners left these. So for those, we are just going to chain 1 and then do 3 double crochets into just the regular spaces. Okay, and from here we're going to keep going around doing our corners and our regular spaces. Okay, just like every other time, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch we made in the round. And you can leave it here or you can keep going. I'm going to do one more round to make it the same size as the example. You can keep going for as many rounds as you would like. Now that your granny square is as big or as small as you want it to be, I'm going to show you how to fasten off. So just like with any other round, slip stitch into the first stitch you made, like that. And then from here, we are going to take our scissors and we are going to cut the yarn, leaving about 1 inch or 2 of a tail. So we're going to cut it just like that. And then we are going to pull the yarn through. Just like that, and then that makes a good tie, and then from here you just weave in the end so that it doesn't come undone. You can do that down as much as you want. Then we're going to just cut that off. I pull to make sure it's all, and then cut it off. Also, I like to snip off this little tail end because it's just annoying. There is your completed granny square.
Remember that practice makes perfect. Here I have a picture of the very first granny square I ever made. It is not pretty. Your very first granny square probably won't be pretty too, but just keep working on it and you will get there. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching.